forward, we ended the month pretty well. The investment balance in our general fund was left at $396,900. Investment balance, this $396, is higher than it was in March of 2010, so that's better than last year. You can see the outstanding checks here on the bottom of this page, and I want you to notice that because there's a page in here that really just shows outstanding checks, and I think in the future I won't include that page because you can still see the outstanding checks by fund here, but if you're used to seeing it on this other page, I'd like for you to get used to seeing it here. It'll just say this one sheet of paper. If you have any questions about the checks that were written, you know, I think they were all pretty, I don't think we had any large ones this month. So over on the second page, the little excerpt box that I put for you on the 3 funds gives you that information.
How are we doing on collecting for lunches?
Doing pretty good. Judy's, anytime the lunch fund's doing well.
That's good.
We're getting state funds of about $7,000 a month is from state, and then there's a little bit of state matching. And then whenever I need to, Judy will give me a check from the activity fund. So.
I had $4,200 to give her. I wrote her a check today.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
they're doing good.
So it'll show up on
That's
there.
awesome. Okay.
We don't want peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
If that works, so be it. You betcha.
The monthly cash flow of the 3 funds, the 3 primary funds that we use to operate, is very typical. It's negative $38,000, but that's very typical for March. Our pickup will come next month when we get some more property taxes in. It is also better than it was in March of 2010. You can see the lower half of that. It was negative $69,000 at this time last year. So
wow.
that's really pretty good. Our interest rate has dropped again. It is now, instead of 1%, it is 0.85%, whereas the other places I've found have still been at 0.75%. And that's something that I'm really going to get aggressive at trying to find something. I don't know that I'll be able to, but I'm hoping that we'll have a little bit that maybe we could put something somewhere. Because that makes me want to cry when I get those bank statements and the interest rate is dropped again. And I think that's just something we don't have much control over, but it's something that I am staying very much on top of. I do check frequently and compare with both banks locally. This third page, it's another page that really pretty much everything on this page can be found somewhere else. It's kind of a custom version, so I will keep this one. But this is just this month's income. It doesn't compare to anything before. This 4th page that just says Treasurer's Report, it's just got total issued and outstanding. That information is on that front page. If you can get used to seeing it on the front page, I would like to not include that one. The next report is the summary comparison. It really gets detailed on where the money's coming from and how it's going out. The interest earnings are about the same as they were in March of this time last year, and mainly that is because of our insurance money that we've had. We've had to write some checks on this month, so that interest that we've gotten is going to go down next month when you see that. Our gross production, it stayed the same for the most part. It stayed at about $10,000 every single month.
That money was a lot different than what money was. So we've been going back and forth. It's under control.
Okay, yeah, and we've got approval for it. It just hasn't come yet, but it will. I've got a page that'll show you how much I know.
You're doing great. It's just I just
I
have a
know.
question.
I saw that too, and I thought, they're going to ask.
Yeah. Be glad I noticed.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I did talk to the county treasurer's office this month, and they said that they are at 85% collected. So we only have about 15% of income tax, or property tax left to collect. And that is why they were lower at this point last year. So that's kind of why our ad valorem tax, if it's a little lower, it's not because we're going to get more, it's just we're at a better position at this point. Which we'll still get a good check next month, or in April, so.
Okay.
Jennifer, could you check on something for us?
I would be glad to.
Maybe before next meeting.
Yes,
I know there's quite a bit of back taxes with certain business in town.
I
It's
know.
delinquent about 7 years.
Yes.
And could you
Find out how
maybe
much
look
it
into
is.
that and find out exactly how much we should have received over the last 7 years due to that?
Yeah,
It'd be interesting to know exactly
Yes.
what we've been missing out on and why that hasn't been pushed.
yeah.
I
Yeah, I
appreciate
did
that.
have that discussion, and they told me that they usually collect about 95% of all the bills that's out, and they said that that number would be higher if certain situations didn't exist. But they said that actually for county, compared to other counties, 95% is really not too bad, which this, I've got writing on all of this, you might not recognize it. This page with the bold column, it's that one page that I said is a little cleaner version. It's, I think, the third page. It compares to what we did last month, that one right there, Cheryl.
Okay.
That compares what we did to last month, income sources. And this is just on our 3 funds. I like looking at these 3 funds because when you're comparing what you've got control over, you've got control over these 3 funds. The flood insurance, or I mean the insurance, roof insurance, and the bond fund, those things are pretty much set in stone and they don't vary much. These 3 funds vary a lot, and this is what we've got control over. So that's why I compare them, and you can see where the differences kind of are from last month to this month. Of course, the taxes are going to vary a lot, but it also compares to this time last year. But on this page, I do want to, this is where you can really see that our invested money in just the general fund alone, you can see that when we ended the month at $396,900 compared to this time last year, it was only $336,000. We're up $60,000 in the general fund in just invested money. And you can compare that for each fund. Of course, we're down on the roof bond fund because that money was spent for the roof. But that's, you can see how it compares to, you know, your controllable funds are your general funds, and we've built up a little bit there as compared to last year. So your graph, I have shown you that right now, if you take, and then remember this is just on our controllable 3 funds, if you take what we've received minus what we have left, that's the points that I've graphed, your cash flow, your total, what's left. And for the year, we're sitting at $273,115. And comparing that to 2 years ago, which I like to compare to 2 years ago because 2 years ago we ended in the black, and last year we ended in the red. So over last year, we're still up $6,022.64. I know that writing is really small. I don't know how many of you really can see that small, but so we're still up over where we were at this point 2 years ago. You'll also notice in April on both the prior 2 years, it's got a little increase. That is because of the major inflow that we get from people paying the second half of their taxes as of March 31st. So we will get another major inflow in April from property tax, and that cash flow will increase. I hope everybody understands that. Got it? I've included one new page. The treasurer's office and Lori has told me that typically treasurers will present you with a projection, which projections are great big guesses of what we have got. You can see in the column on your right side of your page, there is a projected. This comes from our estimate of needs that was prepared in the budget, and our actual allocations received from the state and federal. This shows the federal resources. That shows your money that has been approved from the federal resources that we have not collected yet. And it totals, what we haven't collected is over $176,000 from federal, so. And it shows adjustments. You can see under the state sources where we got that $40,000 adjustment. It shows your adjustments. It shows what we did the last 3 years for each of those income source side, and it shows what we have left to collect, and some of it is over than projection. For example, they don't, in the estimate of needs, they do not estimate anything for prior years ad valorem taxes that was received, and we've received $16,000 from prior years. So you can see that. I hope that's something that you guys find beneficial. I tell you, it was really beneficial for me to understand how it plays out. In the last report I gave you, I highlighted the 4/6 of 2011. That is because this is the checks that are to go out tomorrow. This is where all our funds will set. And I circled the lunch fund because I haven't got that check from Judy yet, but it will go in the bank tomorrow.
The $4,700.
And the $4,200, so that negative 2,000 will be worked out. And so that shows you what we have left in our savings and in our cash funds. And when we get our state deposits and federal monies for this month, when we get our state matching for the lunch fund, that will all increase those invested monies.
Jennifer, while you're still on that subject, on the federal monies that you said were still outstanding, Stacy brought up a good point. There's a large chunk of that that's
That Part B flow through money on the ERA, there's a $19,782 and there's a $56,486.94.
Yes.
That's flow through money. That goes straight to the co-op.
Okay.
So, because I thought that figure's a little high. That is money that goes straight to the co-op because they provide services to us for special education, all kinds of testing, all kinds of services. We could not provide those services for those same two amounts of money right there. So we won't see that money. I understand why. I understand why it's on here because again, it does flow through us.
Yes.
It's just not something we're going to spend.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for educating me.
We do actually spend it. I probably said that wrong.
I know what you mean.
We do spend it, but yet it's already spent.
It's already spent. We
That's
don't have
in place.
control over. It's not a variable.